Hola chicos, hi everyone, welcome back to the Hezron Springer Show. It is Sunday down here in the lovely city of London in the United Kingdom, and I'm your host, Hezron Springer. So good to be back with you guys today. You know, recently I have been on a roll with this podcasting, this thing. I've just been having an itch to keep coming back for some more and to keep giving you guys some juice. And you see with me, right? I get bored of things quite easily, so I don't know how long this itch is going to last. So as they say, I'm going to strike while the iron is hot and continue to just make these things pretty much almost daily until that itch just disappears and I just stop and I don't see you guys for like 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. Anything that can happen in a type A alpha male's life. I don't know, I can get a call to go abroad for another job. I could have another business idea which I want to make. Things just happen crazy and I just go where the wind takes me. And as a Sagittarius man as well, especially, I love an adventure and I just go where I am needed to go. So yeah, my flu has pretty much been gone. I feel really, really good. And you know, coming out of a bad flu like that really makes you appreciate, you know, when times are good, when your body's working well. Because too many of times we take our health for granted. You know, one day I'm not going to be here. One day you're not going to be here. And pretty much it's likely that before you leave this planet, you're going to get sicker. And while we have this amazing health where we can just go out and smell the fresh air, I can ride my bike, I can go on my skateboard, I can go and do things without not putting that much stress onto my body, I need to appreciate, you know, what I have. It's the small things in life that we really need to be, you know, happy for. Because too many times we're looking for a new house, a better looking girlfriend, a better car, better holidays, you know, better clothes. But really and truly, when it comes down to it, good health and good food and just a place to live, that will suffice to live a good, happy, healthy life. With that being said, guys, welcome to episode 7, I believe. Episode 7, my God. The last couple of episodes have been around about an hour. And I'm just so good to the point now, I just think of one topic and I just let myself explode on that topic. And it goes, and I just go forward with it. So I am so happy to keep on doing this for you as long as you guys love listening to it as much as I do. Just want to say to you guys that we are now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts and Amazon Podcasts. So if you want to watch us through high quality audio instead of YouTube, you know, you can listen to me there. I do plan in future episodes to start talking about news-related articles and things that are happening and trending within the news cycle and around the globe. But for right now, though, I want to just test the limits of my own intellectual capacity by talking about things that are more philosophical and then expanding on those topics. I think those are the USP of me, really, you know. It'd be really easy to talk about trending topics all the time, but to really talk about a smaller topic and expand upon it, you know, from nothing, I think that really shows off my own intellectual curiosity. And to be honest with you, it's a bit selfish because that's what actually gets me going. I love the mental game of trying to achieve that goal. So, on to today's topic. Without haste, guys, let's make it happen. You see, when you're young, you're at the lowest point in your life that you'll ever be. You're at the lowest out of all the dominance hierarchies out there. And it's such a shame that when we're young as men, no one tells us that life will even get better. We think that because we are where we are right now, it will forever be like this. But you need to understand that for a man, if you play life right, life will only get not only better, but exponentially better if you do the right things by becoming the man you were born to be. Now, if you don't achieve that, you know, life's going to get worse. In fact, life's going to get exponentially worse. But if you put your head down, keep focused, life will get better for you. But my God, life for young boys sucks. To put it bluntly, it's crap. You have no money, you have no career, No women are checking for you. You don't really know who you really are just yet. You don't know what your real passions, your hobbies are just yet. Everything is just going to take a lot harder to get for you than it would be if you were an established 40-year-old man. Getting women will be harder. Getting money will be harder. Getting good jobs will be harder. Finding new contacts to build your business is going to be harder. Finding new clients is going to be harder. A lot of people won't take you seriously yet because guess what? You haven't proven yourself just yet. And it's hard, man. Constantly being low on money, and then you kind of like have to do this thing where you come together when you want to go out with your boys, and then you put like £3 or £4 each until you can afford that £25 bottle of Hennessy, and then you ask who can chip in, you say, for the mixer, and who can chip in for this and who can chip in for that, and you don't really know it just yet because you're broke. But those things are just an annoyance. Like, if I want to buy a bottle of alcohol now, I'm going to buy a bottle of alcohol to myself. I don't need to be sharing that with nobody. But at that age, and I guess it's part of being that age anyway, and it's kind of fun to do that at that age because it's really sociable when you do those kind of sharing things. It's so difficult just to move anywhere. Like, you're just figuring out life. You don't even know your career just yet. Most of you when you're 20, the things that you think you're going to do when you're 20 aren't really going to be the things that you're going to be doing when you're 30, 35, 40. Your career is like up in arms, okay? In fact, I know most guys that are even in their 30s, their career is up in arms. And not having any money is really going to shape you because it's like, you want to go to the nice bars and the nice pubs and stuff like that, but guess what? You can't afford to go. So instead of paying £20 for a meal and then having to pay £7 for each pint, you're going to go down to the local Wetherspoons, where there you can pay £11 and get a whole sirloin steak meal with a free alcoholic drink included. Now that to you, that's going to be like God saving you from hell. But once you get to a certain age, you're going to be able to afford better than that. But the reason why you go there is because you really haven't got the means just yet. And it's so difficult because you're probably on minimum wage. You might not even be working just yet because you're in university. And life is just hell. It just sucks. There were so many times in my life when I just wanted to give up at that age because it just feels at that age like life is moving as slow as a snail trying to get down the high street. At that age, for me, it felt like I was just constantly spinning my wheels. Like the wheels were spinning, but I actually wasn't moving anywhere. I.e., I was putting in all this effort, all of this love and passion and effort into everything that I did to get ahead in my work world and professional world and, romantic world. But none of these things felt as if they made a difference to the result. Because at 20, you are at the lowest point you will ever be. And it's so difficult down there, and so many young boys, they just really want a little helping hand, a little nudge to say like keep going. But at that age, the world's not gonna give you a keep going because they don't care about you, because guess what? You offer no value to the world at that point. You need to build your skills. You need to make a reason for the world to care about you. You see, when you're young, the world will not just build a pathway for your success. The world's going to make it hard for you, because why do they need to care about you? So the only way to really get ahead as a young man is to carve out your own path and go for it relentlessly. And you got to really be saying, I'm out here, I'm here, and the world is going to respect me by behaving like this, because I have this, and this to offer. And it's undeniable. It's the only way. The world for you as a young boy is not going to carve you out a helping hand, give you a second chance, give you opportunities. The only way you're going to get those things is if you say to the world, I've got something grand and big to offer, and I'm here to make a difference. It's the only way. If you think you're going to sit back and lie back and the world's going to come to you and help you and give you second chances and show you the love and the care, it's never going to happen. That is a young teenage boy fantasy. You've got to give up on this belief that the world cares about you. And it's a real hard thing for some men to accept, because for those men who grew up with a loving mother, you will constantly think about how your mum treated you growing up. Like, you'd fall over and your mum would come to your aid and she would kiss your leg. And even though it didn't actually make it feel better, it felt better because it was the comfort of someone being there for you. And then she would cook you your favourite meal and everything would be all right. You see, as a young man, that's all out of the window. No one's going to give you any help like that as a young man. Getting into a relationship or getting dates with women when you have nothing, oh my God, it is the hardest thing you'll ever do. Having nothing and trying to date a woman is the same thing as being 3'5" and trying to go to the highest shelf at the supermarket. It's going to be so difficult. Yes, can you tiptoe? Yes. Can you get a little mini ladder with a little stool where you can kind of prop yourself up and get there? Yes. But my God, the effort needed to exert all of that as compared to being 6'5" and just putting your hand up is wild. And what I'm trying to tell you is this: as you become more successful and have more status in your field, you're going to metaphorically become that 6'5" guy where all he has to do is just reach his hand up and grab the stuff from the shelf. Because I'll tell you something, oh my God, I'll tell you a story about when I was young. I have never been a guy who has been bad with women. I'm extroverted, I'm charming, I'm funny, I can make people laugh. I know how to, understand emotion, how to really use that and understand people. I've always been good at those traits. I'm a very personable, outgoing, extroverted Sagittarius type of guy. And I remember one time we went to this club in Watford. Oh, it took us so long. We did pre-drinks, like I said before, where we all chipped in to get this one drink because we were low on money. I think we were about 19 at that age. And we took the train up there. And I remember actually I had like one of those over-the-shoulder small bags. I remember it was Adidas. Yeah, oh my God, this is coming back to me now. It was Adidas black over-the-shoulder bag. And when we got to the club, this is how young I was and foolish I was. When we got to the club, they said, listen, you can't bring in bags into the club. So what I did, I went around the corner, found some random bush, and I just threw my bag in there. And I just had faith that no one would take the bag by the end of the night because it was some random place and the bag was only like, £20? Who cares, right? So then we got into this club and yeah, I'd be getting there, and back in those days, I was not the best dancer, but at the end of the day, I know how to talk. Anyway, so down there was this one girl that was like, yeah, she's nice, my type of girl, like lighty, curly hair, black hair, just a bit shorter than me, for short guys like me, like 5'8", girls that are 5'4", 5'5", yeah, they really hit the spot. But that's my type of girl. Anyway, go to the smoking area, start talking to her, and we hit it off. At the end of it, I asked for her, listen, so can I get your number? I want to meet up with you one time after this. And she says, no, I've got a boyfriend. The typical, I've got a boyfriend. And 99% of the time, I don't really believe when girls say that. I think it's just when they say that to blow you off. Obviously, I don't push the matter because that's just creepy and annoying. But I just leave her alone. That's a good thing you got to do. When a girl wants space from you, whether that she says she's got a boyfriend or whether she says go away, bluntly, just leave the situation and cut, because you don't, this is, yeah, don't ever play with that, guys. Just leave. So anyway, the night progresses. I'm chatting to other girls, rah, but then we kind of cross paths at the smoking area once again, boys. And then, naturally speaking, getting another conversation. Start charming her. I'm putting all the tricks in the bag. I'm using all these kind of like lingo. I'm making jokes. I'm putting in charm. I'm understanding her body language. I'm reading every slight move. I'm reading every single flick of her hair. I'm reading, is she pointing her feet away from me? Is she trying to leave? Is she looking back for her friends? And she wasn't doing any of those things. And she was running the conversation. So I asked her the number again. And this time she gives it to me. Long story short, a few days later, I asked her on a date. She says yes. The next week we go out, and then from there we went on about 4 or 5 dates, and before it all petered out, and that was the end of that. And those dates were really good. We had a really good time together, and we had fun, and yeah, really, really good. But what I'm trying to say is that's how much effort man had to put in just to get one date back in those days when I was 19. I was always the one in the group getting most numbers, most Snapchats, Instagrams, having the most dances of girls when we went out. But in order to get those girls, I had to put in some serious effort, boys. Like, I was putting in work. I was like cracking jokes. Man would come to like social situations with a preloaded memory bank full of jokes and entertaining things to say. I'm doing all these like metaphorical backflips and 360s and cartwheels just to get dates with chicks back in those days. Now, compare that to now, 10 years later, I know no matter what social situation that you put me in, if I'm going to the bar, to the club, I'm going to a network event, I know that at least one woman there will like me. This is guaranteed at this point. This isn't no cap. I know wherever I go now, at least, and that's me being conservative, at least one woman will like me. Usually, in most situations, I go to the bar, go to the club, I will always have multiple options of women that will run to me, and I will just simply pick the woman that I like the most, and I will make moves towards her. You know, it's such a contrast now where I don't have to put in all these long talks and, you know, philosophical talks and love and emotion, and I can just turn up and be that guy because, you know, women can sense success, women can sense a confident, powerful, strong man. And now I just don't have to put in nowhere near that amount of effort in. It's just like, we make the eye contact now. Okay, I see she likes me. I go up to her, have a short 2-minute conversation. What's your number? Crack a joke, boom, 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 and then gone. And the next day, text her, ask for a date, and then bang, we're out. You know, there's not much thinking in there because what it is now is women like me for who I am. Back in those days, women liked me for what I could do. And that's a big difference, okay? Because, like, put it this way. You have all these women like in football players and actors and musicians or whatever, but they don't really know them though. Yeah, so a lot of women might like Chris Brown or Kevin Hart or who else, Idris Elba. But end of the day, those women don't know Idris Elba like on that level. They don't actually know him, but they like who he is. Okay, that's the big difference that you need to be converting yourself into as you grow older and more successful. You want to go from being a guy that women likes because what he can do for them, i.e. help them move house or help them paint their house, fix their car, you know, pay their bills. And obviously that's part of it. But you want to go from being primarily a guy that women go to and love because of what he can do to a man that women love because of who he is. And what's great about women liking you for who you are is that you only have to become who you are once for loads of women to be interested in you. Okay, so it's a exponential growth. Okay, so you put all of that effort and love into building yourself into that guy, into being successful, into being wise, into being charismatic, into being that alpha guy, and then you're gonna have exponential rewards coming from that. Okay, it's gonna multiply. It also means you don't have to do as much work because the woman isn't looking for signals of how much you can help her with specific things in the moment. I'm talking about the first date, when you first meet a woman. Once you get into a marriage with a woman or a long-term relationship, that all changes. But in terms of finding a partner and acquiring women, you know, it's going to be so much easier for you once a woman can just type your name into Google. That's who he is. Bang, done. Like, I'm interested. Like, I'm in on the business. Like, whereas if you're a nobody, she's gonna be like, okay, so what are you taking me though? Like, hey, what holiday are we going to? Oh, are you gonna help me move from my house to the next? Like, if you're that guy, if you're Drake, if you're Ed Sheeran, even yeah, Ed Sheeran, even though if you're Kevin Hart, you know, you don't really have, especially in the beginning stages of dating. You don't really have to do anything to get women. Whereas all the guys that are not successful yet and who are young, they're going to be having to do the most. And it's so long to do the most. I've been there, boys. I've been there. And let me tell you, I never want to go back. Like even talking about it now, I'm just getting tired, boys. Like I wouldn't send my worst enemy back to being an 18-year-old boy. Life is crap as an 18-year-old boy. You have absolutely nothing. And in a way, it kind of turns you lazy, you know? And I have definitely noticed that, like, because I know I don't have to try to be attractive to women anymore. I'll admit it, boys. I've become lazier because I just know that I don't have to be doing all these back tricks and handstands and cartwheels for a woman to be interested in me no more. I don't have to do it. All I have to do is like turn up like this, like just turn up, sit down, have a nice smile and say, baby, what are you up to tonight? And then it's like, that's it. It's done. It's over. I went on a date the other day and she was saying, oh my gosh, you're so smooth with it, Hezron. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just talking like, I'm just having normal lingo right here. And then as she was saying that she's so smooth in it, she's like, like folding her legs and like really getting like, you know, really into like the love of it, you know. I just sat back in that day and I was thinking to myself, my God, if you were dating me 10 years ago, you wouldn't have been saying those things. Like you would have only been saying those things after I did all these magical tricks and cartwheels and roly-polies and unicorns and butterflies had to be coming out of roses and petals and sunshine. The heat had to be perfect back in those days just to get like how many women called me smooth with my chat back in those days? I'm trying to think back now. Probably zero, like none. They would all call me charming and stuff, but no one called me smooth. But now I'm just doing the least. I'm literally doing the least. Oh, Hezron, you're so charming. Like you're so smooth. Your talk. How do you do it? Like this is just me just talking on a normal day. And I think that just exemplifies what I'm talking about. As a man, if you do the right things, you start to become the man that women like because of who he is. And once you get to that level, the game totally changes. Because at that point, women are now chasing you. At that point, opportunities will now be chasing you. Will that be business opportunities? Will that be being headhunted by bosses that want to hire you? Will that be people wanting to take you to places, to want you to be part of their business and give you sponsorship deals, and things start rolling your way once you turn into the man who people love and adore for who he is. That's why nobody likes the nice guy, because the nice guy, people only like him for what he does. And if we look at all the most loved and adored men in human history, we will see that we were remembering them for the person who they became. But nice guys, they're so pathetic because it's like, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this, I'll do that. So paradoxically, the guys who are able to do the most for other people don't actually need to do it to get the same results. This is so sad. It's like the same thing with the rich getting richer while the poor gets poorer. The guys who actually have the most to offer do not need to actually exert their power over anyone to get the same result. Okay, let's put that in a more literal sense. Okay, say there's me, Hezron, and then say next to me we have let's say Leonardo DiCaprio. Okay, I cannot afford to take a woman to, let's say, the best hotel in America. Leonardo DiCaprio can do that without even thinking. Okay? If we have the same 10 out of 10 hottie right in front of us and we both like her, who actually has to go to the level of taking that amazing 10-10 woman to the best hotel and the best holiday in America? It's me. Even though I really can't afford it, but he can, I'm the one that's going to need to actually do it in order to compete with him. Because with him, she already knows who the hell he is. With me, it's like, who's Hezron? Who's this guy? Okay? So even though he can afford easily, it's like him going to the best hotel suite in the whole of America is like me spending £1,000. Like, that's the levels of success that he's on. He's on a whole different plane. So it's going to hurt me way more than him, even though he doesn't even need to do it to get the girl. It's so sad, but that is how it is. And it's the same thing with those who have the most money to buy things have the least need to buy things. Like, once you're successful and famous, companies like Nike will be wanting to sponsor you to wear their clothes. So the more rich you get, the less money you even spend on certain things like clothes. Because if you're like Michael Jordan, you ain't got to buy new shoes. Whereas the guys who have nothing and, you can only afford to buy one pair of shoes for the whole year, and that's not even Air Jordans, because Air Jordans are too expensive for them, they're the ones that are going to struggle. While someone like Michael Jordan, he's getting free things for free. He's getting free clothes. Like, it's nuts. Like, all the time, like, I have the means now to go to restaurants more than I can ever go to in my previous life. But I have so many restaurants that I know I can walk in there right now, and I'm walking in with a free meal. That's how it goes as you convert yourself into a man who is loved and adored, not for what he does for people, but for who he is. Now, to become the man that I just talked about there, for people loving him for who he is, you might have to initially help people by doing certain specific things, but eventually what's going to happen is you're going to convert that value, let's say, into becoming the man who people adore for who he is. And at that point, the whole game flips. You can now do nothing and still get the same great results as the guy that does the most. And that's why women naturally gravitate to the men who do the least, unfortunately, because usually speaking, that man is usually high value. Now, usually speaking, we often get the bad boys who feign that social mechanic to impress women, and it works, but then the woman quickly realizes that bad boy actually has nothing. But the rule here that I'm making here still applies. Those who need to do the least usually wield the most value in society. So if you do all the right moves in life, you will start to age like fine wine, and life will eventually start to become infinitely better for you. Life can get way, way better, and if only you just hang on in there and don't give up, you will reap all the benefits. But the problem is, for a lot of young men, they hang in the towel too early and say, you know what, this is as good as life is ever going to get for me, so I'm just going to stop right here. And that's where the devil comes and gets them, because those who do that never move any more forward. But for the guys who hang on in there and hang on closely to their cards, hang on closely to their chips, they're ultimately going to win. Because what happens too many of times with the guys who give up too easily, they go out there and start making dumb, reckless decisions. They start having unprotected sex. Next thing you know, they're 25, they have 2 baby mothers. Their life is over. Yes, are there people that can make a good life once they have kids young, like at 25? Yeah, there's a few of them, but they are the minority. And here we're doing a broadcast. We're broadcasting. We're talking about the general rule. Most people that come from working class backgrounds and get a baby too young, it's over. Their dream will never be made, because it's just so hard to become successful as it is. But then to have a baby which is going to pin you down from going out at certain times, taking risks, taking big opportunities, moving for a different country, traveling, it's going to stunt your career growth like nothing else. Then you do other things like you just hand in the towel and say, I'm going to get a crazy expensive car. Why not? Get it on finance. Bang, next thing you know, you're poor. You give up too easily. But if you only had just hanged on in there, by the time you now hit 30, it's like uncovering a new life you've never knew existed before. Life suddenly starts to become easy in a way that you could have only have dreamed of when you were 18, 19, 20. Opportunities start getting flown your way. But too many of us, we give up too easily. Stop giving up. Keep going. And the woman that you can attain when you're 18 is not the woman you can attain when you're 30. So a lot of the times when we're young, 18, 19, 20, 21, oh my God, this woman loves me. This is going to be, I'm going to marry her and call it a day. And you guys don't realize that if you just waited until you're 30, you could have got a way better, higher quality woman. But you just didn't have the balls to wait, what it is, you got scared that you thought to yourself, hang on, but what if life doesn't get any better? And that's where you went wrong. You lost self-belief in yourself. And if you lose self-belief in yourself, why should the world believe in you? So anytime that you encounter yourself falling into that mindset of like, oh my God, what if by 30 I'm not any further ahead and I've just wasted all my life? And then you think to yourself, let me just give in here. You need to not fall for that trap. That is the trap which most men are going to fall for and then start doing dumb things. I mean, look, my two best friends between the ages of 5 all the way to 28 or so, they both got married before 25. And I tried to warn them. I said, please don't do that. Don't do it. No, this is a big mistake. You're not even successful in your career yet. One of them didn't even have a career. And they did it. And then within 2-3 years, literally around the same time, they both got divorced at the same time. Gruesome, terrible marriage. And I could have predicted that from a mile away because they weren't established in themselves. They got married before they even developed who they were. So once they got into the marriage, there was nothing much for the women to play with because they didn't have nothing. You need to build yourself to the point where you actually have something to offer the world, where you have something to offer women before you start dating and dealing with women on a serious level. I know a lot of guys do this, and I just don't understand it, but what the hell is the point of dating when you're poor? I just can't do that. No. If I ain't got money, I ain't dating. What's the point? I want to feel like a man in a relationship, and if I ain't paying for the bill here, and I'm going 50-50 with my woman on the dates, it's like I don't even feel good about that. Maybe because I'm a real man, I don't know, but if I'm not in a position where I'm up, I'm not dating. That's it. No dates for me. Back to the drawing board. Let me just win out here first, and then I'll come back to my wife or to my girlfriend or whatever and date her, because you know what? There's nothing more powerful than a man that's actually powerful. And once you're that guy in a relationship, you're going to be able to love your woman in a way that you simply cannot when you're broke. Because when you're broke, you have all these things in your head like, oh my gosh, how am I paying the next bill? Or what have I got to do? I've got to work overtime here. You're constantly stressed. How am I going to do this? Should I go back to uni? Should I take a course? Should I go an apprenticeship? I don't know. You're constantly in this kind of like ADHD mode. But when you come back to your girl after you just made a big business deal, you just got a promotion at work and life's good, the kind of love and the confidence you're going to have, your wife's going to be all over you. Now, I'm not saying that, all relationships are perfect and you're never going to be down. What I'm saying is, what's the point of even starting a relationship when you're so far down and you literally have nothing? I don't see the point in that at all. Hence why I tell men, no serious relation until 30, because most of you will not make it until 30. And a lot of you won't make it until 40. And some of you won't make it until 50. And a lot of you, my God, a lot of you will never make it at all. But we won't talk about them. So it's far better for you just to hold on there and just wait to cash in your chips and get a better piece of tail when you're 30 compared to when you're 18. If I told you you'd get your dream girl at 35, wouldn't you just wait? Well, in theory, you would wait. But in reality, a lot of you wouldn't wait because you just get so excited about that one girl that isn't really your type. You know, she's not exactly what you're looking for. Maybe she's a little bit out of weight. Maybe she's not got exactly the kind of body you're looking for. Maybe she hasn't got the exact type of traits that you're looking for. You're like, you know what? What the heck? I give in. I'm 22. She's a nice girl. She treats me good. She cooks for me every so often. I'm going to marry her. But if you just waited a tiny bit longer until you're 30, 35, even 40, and you became that great high value male that women love, you know, you could get a way higher quality woman. And this is one of the reasons for midlife crisis. Midlife crisis, you know, when the man is in a marriage when he was 18, 19, 20, and then he's in a happy marriage and then he hits 40 and he's so successful. And he's like, oh my God, wait, always women are checking for me now? I never knew life could be this great. And he's like, oh crap, maybe I shouldn't have got married so quick. And sometimes, not all the time, that creates a lot of resentment within men. So you've really got to be watching out for that, man. If you just hold on to those chips, it's like poker. Being a man is literally like poker. The game often gets better as you play it for a longer period of time. Now, some of us might get, you know, a flush from the beginning or whatever, but most of us, you need to hold on to those cards, you know, and just wait until you get a good set of cards and then you just cash out and you get what you want. But it takes a long time for you to cash out and get what you want. You need to go out there, improve your skills, become a better version of you. Slowly climb that ladder, get a bit of money in your pocket, become slowly better, you know. Aim a tiny bit higher, you know, keep moving and don't give up just because of a few things failed in front of you. That's because you think that life is hard, just because you think that life ain't treating you well. You know, don't cash in your chips too easily because men age like fine wine, not only in a status sense, not only in a financial sense, but also physically too. You know, I'm looking at these 18-year-old boys now and I'm thinking, rah, is that me when I was 18? They look like little kids, like why would a woman be interested in you? Like, when a man gets older, he's a bit more weathered, he's a bit more mature, maybe he has one or two grey hairs there, his hands are a tiny bit more rough, like, there's this, you can just feel like that's more of a powerful man. But these little young boys, they're like these little young boys, no beard, no facial, like, they just look so like boy. Even physically, I would say physically men look the best between 40 and 50 in my humble opinion. Like, I'm 30 and I look great, but I don't think I look as good as I will when I'm 35, 40. Like, you know what I mean? Because I'm not quite weathered yet. I still got a tiny bit of a baby face. Not quite, but you can still see that, yeah, I'm a bit young. Even though some girls call me old sometimes, but, you know, mostly you can see that I'm still got that smooth face. And that's possibly because I don't do any manual labor. My skin is really smooth. Like, all the time, something like women always tell me, why are your hands so soft? Because I don't do any manual labor. I've been just playing piano and working on computers my entire life. But, you know, men even look better aged. It looks good. Life gets better. You know, because when women come and see a little 18-year-old boy, they think, yeah, he's a little boy, he's got nothing, no job, no career, no success, no money. He hasn't really gone through the trials and tribulations in life. You know, as a man gets older, what makes him into a man is going through all of those life hurdles and overcoming them. There's something, you can just kind of sense that on a rounded man. You can just feel like, yeah, this man's been through some shit. He's been through some hard life and he's come out better because of it. That's the man you want women to see when you get to this age. And at 21, The worst thing that would have ever happened to you probably is you didn't get into the uni that you wanted. It's just not enough. I wouldn't have even dreamed of being where I am now when I was 20. I had no idea I'd run a business and have overseas clients. I didn't know I thought I'd be in the music industry playing the piano in little jazz clubs. I never knew I'd be in a production company doing visuals and videos and documentaries for governments, and this is all nuts. Never would have dreamed it. But if you play your card right like I have, life will get better. So many times I wanted to give up and just throw in the towel and think, oh, nothing is happening, man. I would go to my mentor and say, what the hell is going on? He said, Hezron, just wait. This is my mentor said. Literally, by 30, you're gonna make it. Well, he was right about that, because I'm 30 in about, 7 months now? And I am so happy of what I've achieved. I mean, I can speak Spanish now. I've got a great business. And the key thing is I can see the upward momentum with this thing. And I would never, I remember leaving A-levels when I was 16, and I was thinking, where would I be when I'm 30? Because when you're 16, 30 just seems so far away. In fact, I was even thinking, where would I be when I'm 21? I couldn't even see that far. But now that I am actually hitting 30, I can honestly go back and say to my 16-year-old self, yeah, you're going to be doing good. Don't worry, Hezzy. You just keep on there, mate. I know life's going to be hard. Life's going to be crap. But, wow. Don't just hang on in there. And I wish someone would have told me, specifically as a man, life gets easier and better if you make the right moves. I never knew life could have been this good. Never. If I want to go on a holiday tomorrow, I can book the flight tonight and go tomorrow morning. I ain't got to ask for no annual leave or holiday time. I can go Turkey tomorrow. The sense of freedom that I have is unrivaled, it's unmatched, and I'm doing what I love for a living, and I'm only at the bottom of my career. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh boy, I'm so happy of what I've achieved. And you can too if you put the time in, you put the work in, you keep believing in your dream, and you don't do stupid things that are going to ruin your long-term results, like get a girl pregnant, get 3 girls pregnant. Oh, you're crazy, you've lost the plot. Go and buy expensive things which are going to put you in debt. Oh no, don't do it. If you don't give in and just give up on your dream too easily, you just have to keep going. Even though times get tough, I'm trying to tell you boys, life gets so much better. You're going to have a life that you didn't even knew existed. Life is going to actually surprise you. Life has surprised me in ways that I never knew would even existed. The kind of opportunities which just fall into your lap once you become that guy. And you think, what, I'm in California doing what? What the hell is this? How the hell did I get this? But guess what you did? You got it. You know why? Because you built yourself value to the world. You have to go out there and you have to give a reason for the world to want you, a reason for the world to love you. A man is defined first by what he can do, his usefulness to the group. I used to hate the word being used. Now it's like, I love being used, because the used man is a useful man. A man that has nothing to offer cannot be used. And you don't want to be a man that has nothing to offer. You want to be a man which has everything to offer. You've got to go out there and you've got to build yourself value. And you can do that by gaining new skills, learning new languages, becoming the best version of you every single day. You have to wake up every single morning with one goal: to become the best version of you, because only then can you build yourself a great future, a great life where you're making loads of money. Only then does it make sense to get into a relationship with a woman and have a baby. You want to be a father which is looked up to, not looked down at, like you're a deadbeat, dumbass dad with nothing to offer the world and you work on a minimum wage. No, you don't want that. You want your kid to be proud of you in a way that he just looks at you and think, wow, Dad, I am so happy that I'm your son. I have so much to learn from you, and you are the ultimate master. Wow. That is the life that you want. You don't want life full of pain and struggle and stress. You want to be that guy where life just gets easier for you. Because 2 men who have 2 different women have 2 different relationships. I tell you what, when you have a relationship and you're a high value man, life is just easier. You know, your life loves you. She treats you better. She cooks for you. She cleans the house. You know, because she's scared to lose you because you're that guy. But if you're never that guy, in a way, you're just disposable. There's many other guys like you that are willing to just help out and do things. But a man that's powerful and has everything under control, a woman's going to treat him so much more differently compared to the rest. So it's imperative for men to eventually become that guy, man. It's just easier. It's just better. You have two options as a man. You can either age like fine wine, or you can turn yourself into the trash. Smelly old trash. And I remember Dave Ramsey, he made a joke on his news channel. He said, what do you call your dad's dad? Grandpa. Okay, then what do you call grandpa without money? In the way. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh. And that just hit deep, you know. As a man, especially as an older man, if you have nothing to offer, like no one's listening to you, no one's checking for you, you need to quickly become that guy. You want to be starting to age like a great glass of Sauvignon Blanc or something, or Merlot, or Roja Vino, Vino Roja, perdóname, discúlpame. You know, you want to be that lovely glass of wine. You don't want to be the Blossom Hill, £5 wine that tastes like crap. You don't want to be that guy. You don't want that. Oh no. You need to go out there and increase your value to the world. Otherwise, you'll never actually get to experience the world in its full form. A lot of us live in the world. A lot of us are alive. But are we really living though? Are we actually living the way we want to live? Like, are we living? It's like you can either go out and go out. So are you living? Are you living the life that you've actually imagined for yourself when you were young? I see too many young boys just wasting their life away, and then you look at them when they're 16, you think, wow, what has that guy done with his life? Nah, man, you don't want to be that. You don't want to be that guy. You want to be the guy who ages like fine wine. This is the Hezron Springer Show. Lagote chamacos. See you in the next one.